All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Rocket MSP podcast. I'm Steve Taylor, your host, and today I'm joined by Angelo from Swif. Angelo, welcome, sir.
Nice to have you. Thank you to having me.
don't be nervous, man.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm
me
too
and you here.
nervous.
It's just me and you here. Don't worry about anything. So, Swif is a really neat product, and I know that you know neat might sound dismissive, but I don't know a better adjective for it. You are working on a platform that unifies endpoint management, compliance, and automated control, and like cybersecurity all in one.
Yeah.
So, wh- can you tell me a little bit about yourself? I want to get to know Angelo and maybe just understand like why you decided to develop this product. I mean, there's already dozens of products out there. Why
Yeah.
why Swift?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So in this space, right, we haven't seen any innovation for a very long time. Uh, so the reason or our team started this venture or mission was because our personal experience like from our previous jobs. So I started as a sort of entrepreneur career in late 2012, and the first company I started, it was Lead IQ. So we help company to build like enrichment, uh, account enrichment, account outreach, finding email address, phone number, all from all the places, especially on LinkedIn. So we built a very successful business. Eventually, like grew to I think tens of millions of revenue. We have a lot of like sort of customers. We also have a lot of like enterprise mid-level customers. Everyone was asking the same thing. Can you give me a security of your infrastructure? Can you give me a reason why we choose you and why we believe that you protect our customer data or you protect our data? So we have to do a lot of like security enablement, sales enablement for security survey. So over time, we built a very like a big inventory of our infrastructure and endpoints. So fast forward a few years later, we decide, okay, how can we make this faster? And we have like about 70 employees. How can we make this like deployment much faster? And it was very tough. Like I don't know a lot about IT, so I have to do a lot of things like manually tracking, inventory tracking, writing like the paper, like documentation for them to deploy like antivirus, so on and so forth. There was no central control. So when I started Swerve in 2022, we wanted to make this much easier for people to get their devices secure, whether it's like Mac, whether it's or Windows or Linux. It's all in one place, and we can make sure all devices are secure and compliant and ready to go. And the other thing is that I have in mind is how can we leverage the AI stuff? So people have a lot of questions on how devices are protected, what devices are currently compliant or not compliant. Can we use the Gen AI to be able to answer all these questions for me so I don't have to dig in myself or keep the track with the Google Sheets? So those are the sort of things that we have our vision. We want to accomplish with the one-stop, all-in-one device management with the Mac OS, Windows, and Linux, and then sending that all the data for your needs, your compliance need, to your auditing platform, or you can download it for your inventory purpose. And that's where we started. And today we have over like 100 customers using us today, and we're lucky to get a lot of feedback how to make our product better every single day.
Very cool. Now, you are from Singapore, is that
I'm
correct?
original from Taiwan.
Taiwan, okay. Very cool. Now, you have some really fascinating experience under your belt. You worked for Bosch back in 2006. You were working on machine learning, which is something that everyone talks about right now with AI and machine learning, right? So you're I'm going to call you a pioneer of machine learning. Um, you have some time where you worked at Yahoo
Yeah.
back when Yahoo was still cool. So you've been kind of all over the place in a good way when it comes to technology. So this is not your first rodeo when it comes to starting a company, when it comes to developing software. So kudos to you there. Um, let's dive into Swift a little bit because what I find interesting is you guys have done your best to merge, like I said earlier, endpoint management, device compliance, and automated controls. I see that right on your website, and I'm sure Swift does even more than that. But I would love if we could get a little bit of a demo of what Swift does for MSPs and how you kind of envision us using it.
Yeah, of course. So I would love to share with Swift today with you. So should I get started?
Yeah, go for it. I got the screen up here and we're in.
Yeah, this is Swift dashboard. So as an MSP or a company IT admin or CISO, you probably wonder how can I manage employees. So we provide actually very easy to single HRS with 25 different HR systems. So you don't have to worry how to bring people in. It's very easy to do. And once they're in, you can quickly select and then invite them to enroll their devices. You can write a personal message, but most importantly, that enrollment will have a very detailed instruction, step by step, what they need to do. And once a device is enrolled, you will see that on the inventory control. So with the inventory here, you're going to have a lot of options for day-to-day action, troubleshoot, live terminal. You can live terminal to your devices for troubleshoot that support Mac, Windows, and Linux. You can remote desktop. This is like bundle already, so you don't have to do anything. Once you deploy the policy, you can one click remote desktop. We give you control like regularly like lock computer, wipe the computer if you need it. For when for example when employee leaves the company, you want to wipe off. And the cool thing is that we also provide relocation. MSP, you probably hear like your customer tell you like, "Hey, my employee is leaving tomorrow or next week. How can I get it back?" So this is a function. We get you, shipping from point A to point B, and that's how we got you covered. And you get definitely have a lot of control on day-to-day operation. We give you a very good control on all the policy you will need. For example, you can create your own policy or using our template. You can also have a custom policy. So once you have the policy in place, you can also manage your app store. So with your app store, you can add your custom application with Mac OS or Windows. You can manage your or using our app store, for example, you have already have a lot of application available for you for Mac OS, Windows, and we also give you a free antivirus. And with that, you can use our device group. So device group is very cool as like we let you bundle things with multiple options. For example, you can have a label like AV devices has a default label. We call it system label. You
Mhm.
can have your custom label added here too. Your many things you can add here, and all the devices automatically added here. You can have a user group, like I have a San Francisco team, or you can have a people like assign in the devices group here. So all the devices will be added here automatically with the rules you just add. And then you just add a policy that you want to deploy to these devices. This device is going to have all these policies automatically. You can have applications, what application you want to install on these devices, and even the commands. So you can run commands in schedule way, like cron job on these devices regularly. And all this will automatically help you to do this job, your job, every single day. So you don't have to do anything at all. And the other cool thing I want to show you for MSP is the purchase device. So you probably wonder, how do I, make sure my new device is covered too? So we have a link connection to your Apple Business Manager, Microsoft Autopilot. So when you purchase devices like Lenovo here, this ship from our vendor directly to your warehouse or office or employee house, and then you will connect to your Apple or Microsoft Autopilot, and then you will pre-configure based on your configuration you just see on the smart group, and that will pre-install for you when you open up the devices. And
That's
that's
pretty cool.
that's the end-to-end services from all the way from the new devices, everyday management, and the retrieval for your day-to-day operations. And I'll pause here, Steve.
Awesome. All right. So I have questions.
Yeah.
My biggest question right now is, um, when we sell a client a laptop, for example, from that marketplace you just showed us, is that something where we get to make revenue on that? We get to mark it up and add our revenue there.
So the device purchase, right, is actually at a cost. So we don't charge any margin for that. You can use your own, like, CDW account, for example. We don't actually do the payment on our end, so you can just charge to your CDW account. If you go to us, we also just give you at a cost. Whatever we get from our vendor, we just post it on the pricing tag there. It's just a convenience, and it's included because we want you to have the automated enrollment for your new devices, and it's make sure that you cover every single devices all at once, right?
Okay. So let's talk about security. This platform, I think one of the key features is that you offer some cybersecurity services and policies. So how does that work here?
Yeah. So should I do a demo, or should I just walk through the process? So
Whichever you think is best.
yeah, I can do a quick demo here. Yeah.
Great. Go for it.
Yeah. So, day to day, we probably wonder what's our situation about, compliance needs, and that's a part. We have a couple options here. So, first, we give you an option about checklist. So, and here you can see if devices comply or not. And if you don't, you see that something is missing, you can one click and fix it. So this is a compliance checklist, and also let you quickly fix it. And for this, we make sure that your devices have a software update, encryption turned on, antivirus install, and security patch, and then a screensaver, for example. So all this policy can be deployed. I have a checklist here. If nothing is, if everything is right, you see all green. If everything is something is wrong, you can see the red check mark here, red cross here. So all this is very good for you day-to-day operation, as a make sure the device is compliant. And the other thing I want to mention is that on the policy itself, right? We cover most of the things you will need from macOS or Windows purpose. For example, you have a Defender policies, you have Microsoft's default security policies, and you have password policy that protect your endpoint every single day.
Mhm.
So all those are very, very important in terms of endpoint security. And lastly, I want to cover is that all this data, right? We let you ask to our Swif.IQ. Right now, it's not available on the web app. It's available on the agent. Uh, I can switch the share mode if you. So let me
Sure.
do, yeah, do again here. So on our agent itself, you can use it to ask, for example, is Android devices compliant? Sorry. Yeah, you can see it understand your environment security setup. You answer you what Android device is lacking. Does it is it compliant? So all this data will make a very good use of it, and the Swift IQ will continue develop, and we will embed it in the web app or the main control, and everywhere you see. Right now, it's available on the app itself, but in the future, we embed it to the app itself. Yeah, the
So
web
this
app.
looks very much like, Chat GPT basically.
Yeah. So we use the ChatGPT, combining the data set we have. We call it a system file, and then we put it for each organization. You can enrich that. Will enrich for you and you with your company data, and that's how you get to ask questions like the security questions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I feel like Chat GPT is, I don't know, overused at this point. Like every vendor is trying to figure out how do we integrate um, large language models into our product.
Mhm.
So, do you feel like adding the chat is something that's going to actually be useful for MSPs, or is it maybe just a gimmick?
It is a very good question. So I'm going to share with the another features that GPT can be useful. But this is like sort of our secret sauce.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So access control, this is the biggest pain point for many companies. Right? If you don't have Okta, if you have Okta, you'll probably be fine 50%. If you don't have Okta, implementation of Okta or single sign-on is very tedious job, and a lot of apps don't even support Okta. So that means you sort of have no control at all on a lot of apps out there. So with the application control here, we give you the access to manage all this app, who has access to what, and we build a Chrome extension. It's not launched yet, but that Chrome extension to capture every single pages. Like wherever you have access, you can use our Chrome extension to capture the access and store it here. And that Chrome extension is based on GPT power. So language model, we give them, hey, this page is about all the assets. You have an employee, you have an access, what administration permissions there, and we use a GPT to understand the structure of the page and save it as a structured data here. So that's how you have the access control. And the cool thing is that you can use it for onboarding, offboarding. Wherever someone is onboarded, you give them, oh, I need this kind of access to them, and you will turn it on the page itself, record it here. When you out of boarded, we give you, oh, this person has all this app, you should turn it off so you can remember it. And we also support some automated connection. For example, you see the Google Workspace is automated integration. That means we have a API integration. So actually, you can turn it off from the dashboard here. So that's how we use the language model in very different way, uh, or much more like innovation way in terms of using language model to understand the page, turn the page to the data, store the data for you, so you can use it for access control. Yeah.
And what type of guardrails do you have in place for the language model? For two things. One, how can I, as an MSP, be sure that the the AI doesn't accidentally use my data when responding to a different MSP's request?
Yeah. So this is a sort of called a system file. So basically, you have a system file that grouped by organization, and we use the data for that your organization is not going to share by any other organization, and those data will be only used when coming as the questions coming from the question or request coming from your organization, and we use all those as system files. And if some other organization use it, they're going to use only the assistant files. So those are segregated data.
Okay. And then the next question I have is, how can we be sure that the AI isn't hallucinating? Because that's, sometimes I can trick the AI and I can tell it, the letter P doesn't exist and it'll no longer use the letter P. Like you can trick AI all the time. So how can we be
Yeah,
sure that your AI is accurate and not being
yeah,
tricked and giving us accurate information that's
yeah.
true information?
So on the surface level, right? So you're going to interact with our like dashboard, but or our app itself. But on the back end, we do like a prompt management. So we make sure that we ask a specific question for you when we actually just ask it on based on your data. So that's how the prompt management works. So we make sure that when we send a request on behalf of your data, we make sure that we only use the data, not overdo like using like the answers coming from their knowledge base. So that's the difference here. Yeah, and it's totally manageable as long as we keep tracking what's the features we're going to release on our dashboard or the app. Yeah. I think Steve, you're muted.
What else can Swift do for MSPs?
Yeah, so Swift does, from end-to-end device management, including Mac OS, Windows, and Linux, and cover that for device purchase, and give you the control for day-to-day operation like security questions. And if you need a retrieval, we can help you too. So those are day-to-day actions. So the other thing I want to say is that an MSP has a lot of power in terms of compliances, right? So they want to make sure the devices are compliant. And this is one thing we're still developing, right? We are connecting with more and more vendors out there. Today we connect with the Venta, Drata, and ThoroPass. So if you are a Venta and Drata and ThoroPass customers, this is default support. And if you have other like types of like a compliance tool like you want to ask or request, we can give you an Excel file or CSV that you can use it or PDF that you can upload it to a compliance auditing. Otherwise, we can definitely talk to the vendor you're using and trying to use the API to update it for you. Yeah.
Great. So, on your website, one thing that um, MSPs, one thing that you guys will notice is if you scroll down to the bottom, uh,
Yeah.
there's a compare section in the footer links,
Yeah.
and you've done a great job of comparing Swift to um, Adigy and Mozile, Jamf, other MDM solutions. So,
Mhm.
I guess first and foremost, I want to make sure that those of you that are watching this don't think that this is an RMM. This is not. This is not designed to replace uh, Datto RMM or Kaseya VSA or one of those really powerful RMM tools. This is designed to replace MDM, which I mean, it just acts completely differently. The one thing that I noticed is missing from your comparison, though, is Intune.
Hmm.
I feel like that would be a great comparison for you to add to your website. Beautiful
Yeah,
website, by
correct.
the way.
Yeah. So comparison with Intune, right? So we the reasons I think we didn't add it was like a lot of customer asking us like, hey, the Intune has a Mac OS, but a lot of them don't even use it. So we saw, okay, if we want to do a comparison, we have to actually understand the Intune. So right now we're working with a lot of Microsoft support, and we're adding a lot of knowledge there, like what we learned so far in a few weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, I think this is a really cool product. I would love to see. Can you show me some of the policies that we're able to set up? The one thing that I liked about Mozile that you do compare yourself to is Mozile has really started to beef up their compliance. So you can, for example, with Mozile, say, I want to make sure that all of our devices are adhering to NIST CSF or CIS controls V8 and implement the appropriate policies to do that.
Hmm. Can you repeat your question? So what kind of policies are you looking for?
Like cybersecurity, do you have or are you planning on adding like cybersecurity frameworks or controls to Swift? Does that exist
Yeah.
today?
Today we don't have these functions, but I think based on what you just suggested, I think this will be aligned with some of the controls like we can do already. Maybe it's already in our some of our policies. We just have to sort of rearrange it to make sure that control will be in a template and then will be available. So I will definitely like discuss with this team and see what we can do here. But I believe a lot of control we already have. It's just like how do we organize it so people can use it for security control. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Is there anything else that you think we need to see on Swift before we wrap up?
I think definitely one thing I like the product most is like saving me or the team a lot every day. Is in terms of like a smart group and a user group. Like you can organizing the group like in the organic way based on location, based on the job title, and then you can also group your device group according to your user group, and that's very useful because once you set up, that's pretty much done. You don't have to do it like every single day. It's just like automatically like deploy everything for you, and that kind of automation gives us a lot of time back, right? As a team, as an organization. So that's I think that that's a thing I want to highlight. And also the compliance checklist right now, we focus a lot on HIPAA, SOC 2, and ISO. So like customer asking for app blocking, for example, one thing you mentioned security control. The other thing we notice is that ISO, you need to add blocking. You need blocking that certain app has been running or installed on the devices. We support that for Mac OS and Windows. So you can specify the name. For example, I can quickly show it here. So on the app blocking, you can actually create uh sort of like the blocking feature based on a certain things. Like for example, your developer ID, uh the vendor's developer ID on the application itself. Or you can using signing ID, that package, and of course, 256, this SHA number, certificate list, application pass. So this is very easy for you. As long as you know where is the application, you give the pass here, or you just fuzzy match with the application name, and this is application like blocking policy. You prevent a certain application to be installed or running, and this is very useful in terms of a compliance need like ISO or your day-to-day operations. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for coming on here and demoing your product.
Yeah.
This is a really neat MDM, and based on what I'm seeing on your website, you charge $12 per user per month. Is
Right.
that like the retail price?
Yeah, that's a retail price. We
What?
definitely can discuss with the pricing as an MSP or even a partnership, right?
Okay, great. Do you have any standard pricing that you offer to MSPs to start?
So right now we offer our MSP with a 10% cashback on partnership. For a bigger MSP, we give a 20% discount. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here and demoing your product. And thank you to those of you who stuck around to the end. We will catch you at the next episode. Take care,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you so much.